Ladies and gents, welcome to this week's video. Now, by the end of today's video, not only are you going to be able to start your agency, but you're going to be able to do it without spending a single euro, pound, dollar, franc, dinar, or real. So just some quick housekeeping. I always try to leave chapters in my videos. So if you check the description below, you'll actually be able to see table of contents replicated with timestamps so you guys can scroll through. Also, I strongly recommend you go ahead and save this video to your watch later, so that way you could come back to it, reference the different timestamps, and actually go ahead again and use this video as a reference point when you get started. So in today's video, we'll be covering 4 things: what you need to start your agency, what you need to reach out to clients, what you need to get paid, and what you need in order to deliver your services. First, let's talk about starting your agency, because this is such a massive sticking point for so many people. And most people count themselves out of the race before it even gets started, because in their mind, in order to start an agency, you have to register with the government or a professional body and spend thousands and thousands and thousands on fees. Now, obviously laws change country by country, and I cannot stress this enough. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, so you should never rely on me for that information. But what I can go ahead and do is I can share my story, and I can also affirm that this is really the case for most people. In my unique experience of not only having my agency, IG Media, also being the owner of the largest education company on earth for agency owners, I've spoken to and coached thousands and thousands of agency owners, and I can tell you most kind of go through this process. So let's get into it. That's me, little fetus Iman. And because I started working in the UK, I could do so as a sole trader. That means that I could charge businesses for my service and give my business a name. And at first, there's nothing really that I needed to do to become a sole trader. You just go on the government website. It just takes a couple minutes. You just register as a sole trader, let the government know that, hey, I'm doing some self-employed work, so in the next tax season, I might be paying some money. Now, eventually, you have to pay tax, but that's it. And you don't have to register your business legally with anybody. You can just choose a name. So in terms of my agency, I ran my agency from August of 2016 all the way up to April 5th of 2018. All as a sole trader. In fact, I'd created my company a few months prior to that. Actually, in fact, I created 2 companies and later realized that it's an absolute nightmare to file tax returns for 2 companies if you don't have to. You don't have 2 credit cards, have 2 Uber accounts, etc., etc. So that's just another piece of advice to you. If you can, try to bundle some companies up together. But anyways, I digress. My point is, from August of 2016 all the way to April 5th of 2018, I waited until the new tax season in the UK rolled around to start using my limited company. And I'm sure you guys remembered, I managed to get my agency up to 20-30K a month within that period. And as I said, I was a sole trader. I would invoice my clients. I would just keep track of any receipts or invoices that I paid for as an expense, and that was actually a deduction. It was just super simple. I think as I said, a lot of people really freak themselves out. Guys, the government wants you to pay taxes, so they're not going to make it hard on you. Really all you have to do is just register as a sole trader at the beginning until your agency, and this depends country by country, gets to around 10,000 a month. That's usually where it's kind of worth starting a company and operating it through the company. And then apart from that, every month, just do the calculation. How much did I make? What were my expenses? Whatever's left, the profit, you just have to pay a percentage of that in tax. And you can just look up an online calculator and it'll tell you that. And then just in your bank account, just make sure you've got sort of like a reserve account, and that's just your tax fund. It really is as simple as that. Remember, the government is happy that you're paying them taxes and you're declaring taxes. So, they're not going to make it hard on you. So on the topic of starting an agency and picking a name, I'm going to show you an example of an imaginary agency that you could start. Now, it's an agency that provides leads to home insulating companies. I've just thought of this name in my head, and then I went to canva.com, made this logo, and downloaded it free of cost. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to spend $500, $1,000, $2,000 on an extensive brand pack when you first start. My agency, IG Media, that was the updated logo. The first logo I ever did, I literally just did in Canva. Actually, I don't even think I had a logo. I think it was literally just like, I just typed it out in Times New Roman. So look, all this stuff does not really matter when you first start. I've said it time and time again, once you're first starting and looking to get your first few clients, the only thing that matters is outreach. Later down the line, like I did, if you want to go ahead and create some newer logos, just redesign the website, etc., you can do that. But with these initial steps of starting your agency, just get it done, and get it done in the most cost-effective manner possible. Next, I'm going to go to Wix.com. Now, Wix is an idiot-proof website builder, and this is probably a great time to announce that today's sponsor is, we still don't have any. Kieran, can we get that sorted, please? Now, anyways, as I was saying, Wix is an idiot-proof website builder that actually lets you sign up for free, browse its templates of websites, and create one for free as well. It's super easy to design, and you literally drag and drop your logo in place. and change the text. Now, one thing to note specifically with Wix's free websites is that they do use a .wix site in the URL and also display a banner ad advertising Wix at the top of the website. But if you're looking for your own website with a custom domain, you can use a professional site for only £6 a month, and we'll get onto that in just a second. So ladies and gents, now you have a legitimate agency, and it should really never take you more than 60 minutes to pick a name, get registered as a sole trader if you aren't already, and just make a janky logo in Canva. Obviously the website, may take you an hour or two just fiddling around, adding all the text that you want, but really within the space of half a day, it should never take you more than that to actually get off the ground with your agency. But now it's time to start finding clients. But to do that, you're gonna need a way of outreach. Here's where Gmail comes in handy. Now, I know you're gonna be cynical and say that you can't email off a personal email address, but when I first started out, I didn't even have a website, let alone a professional email address. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is really just to tell you that you have no excuses. When I first started my agency, in fact, basically from August of 2016 all the way to April of 2017, so that was like the first 8 months or whatever, I had no agency name. I was just operating as me. And obviously because I had no agency website or domain, I didn't have a personal business address. So my point is you really have no excuses. Now, one thing I will say is that of everything you can kind of spend money on when you're first starting, I think the highest ROI is a business domain because it's £10 a year, and then a business email that comes with that, which is £5, £6 a month. Please prioritize that over using a software like Pipedrive or Slack or just like, if you need to bootstrap this thing, which I did when I first started, there are some really powerful tools that you can just add later. If you really don't have £15 to start in your first month and get a business email and domain, that is still absolutely fine. As I said, I managed to scale my agency up to, at that point, 15 grand a month. In fact, you guys can even go back on my YouTube to 2017. You can see me signing clients in the office with my clients, etc., etc. At that point, I'd signed some really awesome clients like Furo Systems, Athlete, Zebra Fuel. And as I said, all of that was without any technical business name or business email. But I will say this definitely has a great ROI. So if you can afford the £15 a month, in fact, it's not even 15 a month, it's 10 a year for the domain and then 5 a month for the G Suite, I strongly recommend it. As I said, if you do want to have a personalized email address, I'm going to show you how cheap and easy it is to do. First, go to Google Domains. Then type in the name of the domain you're going to buy. As you can see, Insuleads.com has already been taken, but you can still get a high authority domain like a .co.uk for just £10 a year. And when you check out, you'll be given the option to buy a custom email through Google Workspace. That means you get a personalized domain and email address instantly for £10, and then with a monthly cost of £4.60, you get the entire G Suite ecosystem. Next, consider setting up an Instagram. Remember, this is completely free, and you can use Canva to create high quality graphics for things like testimonials. Now, I will say, do not spend hours and hours and hours, maybe once a month, just batch 5 or 6 pieces of content on your agency social media. Now at this point with my agency, I don't think I've touched the Instagram for a year, 2 years, like honestly, I have no idea what's going on in that thing. And once you get to a certain point with your agency, the testimonials that you have, the clients that you work with, most clients I don't really think look at Instagram. But when you first start, if a client is looking up your website, etc., it is nice to have just something there on Instagram. And also don't just make it boring graphics, like informational graphics. Have a photo of you, add a bit of personality to it. When people are working with agencies, I think the thing that a lot of agency owners forget is that we're still in the service-based business, and we're it's business owner to business owner. So I don't know, I think when you're working with a service provider, you want to see their face, you want to know what they look like, you want to get a feel for them in that sense. So that's just a good little piece of advice. Now that we've gone ahead and gotten all of that set up, it is time to set up a way to get paid. Right? Because at the end of the day, when you start reaching out to clients, when you start setting some meetings, on the meetings, whether it's a 1 meeting close or a 3 meeting close, really the culmination of all of this is signing them and getting paid. And I've been saying this for years and years and years. I've been running my agency like this ever since 2018. So everything that's gone on in the world over the space of the last year, this is, the new normal has been normal to me ever since, mid 2018. Exclusively Zoom meetings with clients, even potential clients, and charging all of our clients online using a payment processor rather than bank transfer. Now the two I'm going to show you here, yes, you're going to pay anywhere from a 1.5% to 3% fee, but trust me, having a client card on file and being able to auto bill them every month and all of that will be stipulated in sort of your standard agreement with the client. That is so powerful, and to me is worth paying the 1.5 to 3%, because anyone who's running an agency and for the first 2 years almost, we did everything bank wire. You know how much friction it can cause with a client, even if you're delivering incredible results, if they're late on payment, etc. You just don't want to deal with it. You want to focus on being an amazing agency and an amazing service provider, and not having to faff around with collecting payments, etc. Now it's time to get paid. If you've ever watched any of my videos before, I'm a massive fan of Stripe. The reason is you can get paid via debit or credit card, set up auto billing, and it generally reduces any friction between you and your client. Now you can actually set up a Stripe account as an individual or sole trader. Okay, so it's not necessary to have a registered business address in order to set up with Stripe. However, the big problem with Stripe or PayPal is that they take a small percentage of each one of your transactions, as I previously said. And really at the end of the day, they only charge you a small percentage, and you only need to worry about that if you get paid, which means you're in a great position. But it's still possible to get paid by direct bank transfer if you prefer not to lose anything of your service fee. Next, it's time to deliver your service. Now, what service you're actually delivering obviously depends on what niche you're in, what sort of agency you want to have. At greatagency.com, we've helped Facebook ad agencies, YouTube agencies, SEO agencies, web design agencies, email marketing agency, IP protection agency, you name the top leading agencies, they've learned from us. So the reason I say this is because don't get handcuffed into one specific area of service delivery. The main question to ask yourself, and I have many videos on this before, is what is best for the client? What is going to get them the best results? Now, because we're running ads for home insulators, Facebook in this case will probably be the best option to bring in new customers. That means you'll need to pay for advertising. Now, one of the most important things you'll need to remember as an agency owner is that you never, ever use your own money to pay for your clients' Facebook ads. You ask them to put their card details in and deal directly with Facebook, and there's a couple of reasons why, but most importantly, it streamlines the entire process. You don't have to bill your clients separately for a retainer and their advertising spend, nor juggle two different sets of accounts in your business. And to actually run these ads, you have two options. The first is to simply do it yourself. Now, if you want an easy guide to Facebook advertising, I have an in-depth video on my channel that you can watch, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. The important thing is to remember that Facebook have made it as easy as possible to run adverts, and you can get great results for your clients with minimum knowledge or expertise. Of course, there is another option, and that's to find yourself a contractor who can deliver your adverts for you. Here, I've gone to the popular subreddit, Facebook ads. Now in here, you can ask for advice on Facebook ads and find yourself a contractor. Although you'll be paying a contractor, remember you don't need to do this until after you've been paid by the client and after the contractor has fulfilled their service. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of contractor arbitrage. I've said it time and time again, the people who actually find business and sell the business and do the general marketing, most of the time they're the ones who are in the best position, or not most of the time, they are always the ones who are in the best position and have the stronger upper hand. You ask yourself, why do people work minimum wage at big scale agencies when they know that these agencies are charging their clients retainers of $50,000, $100,000 a month? Because quite frankly, some people just want to focus on their craft, and you'll find that a lot of the contractors out there, they don't want to deal with finding clients, sales, running a business, etc. They just want to do what they're best at, which is delivering their service, whether that's Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, email marketing, whatever it may be. So you find these people and then you do a markup on their service, in the exact same way that Airbnb has a pretty hefty service fee. What for? For giving someone like me the stamp of approval of Airbnb and knowing that Airbnb will manage the entire operation. But anyways, back to my point. As I said, it's really important to note that even if you're paying for a contractor, it's still possible to do so without being out of pocket. Most agencies follow this payment structure where they take payment from the client at the beginning of the month and pay their contractors at the end of the month. This is a great way to keep strong cash flow. So now you've done everything you need to start an agency, sign your first client, and deliver the services. So let's go ahead and recap and look at the costs associated to this. Here's a pretty accurate breakdown of costs between the free options I've just mentioned and the more premium versions. Let's say you register as a sole trader, create a logo on Canva, a website on Wix, an account on Instagram, an email with Gmail, get paid via bank transfer, and deliver the services yourself. You spend a grand total of nothing to start your agency and get paid. But let's say you're feeling really flush with cash and you want to start your agency up properly. You can do all of this, including registering your business as a limited company and buying a professional domain for less than £30. This is why I love SMMA, not only because it is an incredibly profitable business model, but because of the low barrier to entry. A lot of these other business models, when I was 16, I couldn't have started. Like I didn't have the couple of grand at minimum needed to post up and start these businesses. And really your main takeaway here is that if Fetus Iman can do it, so can you. So ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, action step for today is I want you to go ahead and comment right below the story of signing your first client. So how did the lead come in? How much do you charge them? And what was the overall experience like of signing your first client? Now, as always, that will automatically draw you in to win a pair of blue light blockers from my company, Gadzhi. That'll be announced in the next video. As always, you can find last video's giveaway winner in the description as a pinned comment as well. And right next to that, you can see the updated 2021 agency case study. There's no email opt-in, there's no sale at the end, nothing like that. It is just the updated, latest and greatest information on how to start and rapidly scale your agency this year. And I mentioned stuff on there that I can't actually talk about on YouTube. So make sure you go ahead and click that link as well. I hope you guys all enjoyed and excited to see you in the next video. Look, if you enjoyed that video, I went ahead and picked out another special video that I know you're going to find immensely valuable. You can find it right there. I know you're going to love it, and I'll see you in the next one.